Hi guys, welcome back. So this is what Christmas looks like in the UK. Marks and Spencer's car park, pretty crammed. There's a queue going. It's not actually as bad. Somebody there, but it's definitely a sound of Christmas when people start bipping their horn like mental. But yeah, Marks and Spencer's, just been there. The car park's not too bad. Traffic going in. There seems to be spaces. I think people don't want to hang around. Of course, KFC. So we are at Princess Alice Retail Park, formerly known as Princess Alice Drive, which was formerly a children's home. And back in the day, I did have a few friends that would have been living over there in these very Victorian-esque type buildings. And some of the children seemed nice when I was a kid. Some of them were just like downright. I mean, back then, you had the odd bully and stuff, but some of these kids, they had that extra edge to them. So this is very depressing. This is Burger King. Not that Burger King in itself is depressing, but it used to be Brampton Hall, and a very fond memory of Brampton Hall because it is where we had our Silver Jubilee dinner before we kind of all headed back to our street, which was a little bit different actually, to have a Silver Jubilee dinner and then head back to a street party. And that was 1977. It's nice that a garage is still here. A lot of the garage is obviously gone because people are trying to get away from petrol. And this is actually New Oscott in technically I think it's in Sutton Coldfield, and the boundaries are a little bit funny around here, so this is actually New Oscott. And back in the day, we now have a Tesco's, which is, you just about see it over there. That used to be an actual field for football and sports. Used to have a little five-a-side like pitch as well. As you see now, it's Tesco. It's been there for quite a while now. Tesco has. Not even sure when it was built, to be fair, but it might have been in the late 80s or early 90s. You know, like your memory plays tricks. It just feels like it's been there forever. But the old railings, which are these things, are still visible. And back in the day, you would just climb over these railings and yeah, have a little bit of a game of football. And at the end of the car park of Tesco's used to be a row of houses. And I only remember that because there was one fella who, back in the days of CB radio, he had a house there. He was a nice guy actually. I can't remember what his name is, Gordon or something, but he was a nice bloke. A lot of people on the CB back then were a little bit dodgy. You know, never what you kind of expected if you spoke to him. And but yeah, Gordon, in fact, was his name. He was a nice guy. You know, pretty chilled out. Had a bungalow actually, which is quite. You know, if you think about it, it's quite, for a young guy. That's quite good going. Have a little bungalow. I bet if that bungalow had been there now, it'd been worth an absolute fortune. Just going to cross this road. Oops. So I get. Fortunately, the traffic is so congested that there is some chance of me getting run over, but not a lot of chance. So my memory recalls back in the day, we used to have, I don't know where it was, but it's somewhere along the strip. It used to be like a little cafe. You could actually cut through to the other side. It feels like this place has been here quite a long time. Bought me a service in MOT. But I think it used to be called High Spark Batteries. I always find it kind of slightly ironic that over the road we have, if I can just zoom in a little bit, we have the Beggars bush, but we've never had any people begging there. Now, if it was in a city centre, then you say that is, if you're going to beg anywhere, beg at a Beggars bush. Yeah, I caught the bus up here from Boldmere, and The buses aren't bad. I kind of walked most of the way up, but managed to never quite sure where these. Okay, probably not safe that I cross here. Used to have a nice restaurant up there. I think it's a Cantonese called Pearls. I'm not actually sure where it was now. Now we've got vape shops. So a vape shop there. Got a vape shop there. Vape shops here, there, everywhere a vape shop. Right, I think it's safe to cross now. Number 5 goes to West Brom. It also goes through King's Standing. Just trying not to get run over. Even when I used to live up here, I never used to really go in that pub. I'm not sure why. It wasn't really dangerous or anything, but you know, when I was old enough to drink, I would go to other places like the Boldmere, the Cup in Sutton Coldfield. You have to excuse if my hand gets wobbly, it's because I'm balancing a big bag of shopping. I didn't want to bring the car. It wouldn't have been successful if I brought a car. I'd probably still be sitting in it now, waiting to get up to the shops and stuff. And in Tesco, busy-wise, it's not too bad. I cheated a little bit, to be fair. There was a big queue of people waiting to go through the basket aisle. I had a basket, decided to go through the big trolley aisle, and unfortunately I didn't get chastised. I think they understand this time of year, and also I'd be about 5 seconds. This is a really nice chip shop, new Oscott fish bar. It's been a while since I've been here, but back in the day, yeah, I used to love a kebab from there. And the temperature's actually dropped, which in a way I'm happy about. It's not freezing cold yet, but it's actually just nicely cold. It feels a little bit more like it should be winter. That shop on the corner, that used to be like a model shop. Never actually went in there, and I kind of feel guilty that I don't go to these places. But it is what it is. So I think this used to be like Lundy's now. It was another shop, but it also used to be a co-op. Got some fond memories of co-op. Used to pop in there, get some snacks before we headed up to Sutton Coldfield Odeon to use our free tickets. My mum worked there between 1975 1987, and every week we used to get 2 free tickets, and so we could actually go up. Sometimes we used to get a few more, some concessionary ones if we wanted to go up, like say got Brothers. And yeah, it was quite nice experience. Although back in I think it was 1977, when Star Wars came out, I was already a huge fan with anticipation, even though I was 10 years old. And it's probably the first thing I was ever really into was Star Wars. And obviously you couldn't get hold of too much information back then about it, but just a trailer alone, it was enough to hook you into the universe, I think, as a 10-year-old. And because it was something completely new, it's completely out of this world, and it took space-related films, sci-fi, into a whole new technological era. And yeah, so it was. I think it was the summer of '77 or something, and I really wanted to go and see it. I went to a sweet shop, and next thing you know, I came back from the sweet shop, and my brothers and maybe a couple of their friends, they'd all gone to the Gaumont Cinema in Birmingham, and yeah, they'd gone to see it without me. So I had to wait. Actually, a lot of people don't, understand this these days, but if you missed a film back then, you'd have to wait a long time for it to come around again, or if it ever did. Star Wars was such a big film that I actually had to wait, I think, probably till about April 1978. And that's when I got to see it. But by that point, I'd actually got even more Star Wars stuff, cuttings out of newspapers that came out at the Christmas. And I got all sorts of stuff. But I'm really kind of glad I got to see it eventually. So that building across there, that's home base. Was home base. It's now going to be a Sainsbury's. There's a bit of contention about a Sainsbury's as an addition to shopping up this area. We have a Lidl, which is just up the King's Road, and then we have an Aldi. We've got a Tesco, and you've got the Princess Alice shopping like as well, which has got the Marks and Spencers, your Boots, your Next. I think there's a bit, I don't know, is it Pound? You got Curry's. So yeah, to add another supermarket though, that would make 4 supermarkets within literally 100 metres of each other. I'm not sure how successful they'll be. I mean, they'll have to be competitive if they want to take any trade from Aldi's or Lidl. And, you know, Tesco's has managed to carve out its own niche and maybe do a little competition with Aldi's. So, you know, price matched with Aldi's is often, you know, something you see. But yeah, it's home base has gone. There was a time many years ago when I was working as an engineer, just where the entrance is, just around the edge of a home base building, there's a couple of there's a big lorry, a big sort of open back lorry pulled up, and there's a bunch of guys. They nicked one of these great big seating arrangements, like the kind that you sort of sit on in the summer with an awning over you. And yeah, and just for a game, I decided to follow him, and I followed him all the way through the park and into King's Standing, and eventually, you know, that was it. I lost them, but I didn't know I was following them. I was just, you know, trying to kill time basically. And that building over there, that used to be my doctor's. I think it's a day nursery now. And I remember back in the day, actually maybe might have been a building next to it, which would have been just on the corner there. Back in 1984, I got off a bus and stupidly looked for the windows, decided there was nothing coming, ran out, and I got pinged by a car, and I kind of ended up roughly around about here. And back in the day, that used to be a quick save. Aldi's used to be quick save, and I think maybe there was a lot of people came out, mostly staff, gathered around me, and I wasn't concussed or anything, but for some reason I just didn't open my eyes for a few seconds, and the poor lady driving the car thought I was dead. But you know, nothing came of it because it was generally my fault, and so yeah, I left it at that. This place has been here forever. It's and again, it's one of those places you kind of feel like you should maybe take up a hobby or something, just so that you don't lose these places. These arts and crafts, like I said, been here a long time. The Ward Opticians has been there a long time as well. Used to be here by Craig. I think that was a clinic hub. And used to be I think there was a chip shop there at one time, and Tang's Gardens. Yes, I wouldn't want to be driving a car today. It's not. It can't be fun. I mean, and I'm guessing some of these people may be working as well. So, you know, as long as they haven't got a heavy workload on, and able to get away. So the square compass. So, I think it's a tattoo place now. Where the square compass used to be, presumably before, that was the first sweet shop I kind of went in when we moved up here from south of Birmingham, and it was a lovely old guy. And what he used to do, he used to, if you buy bottles or something, I think as a child I was introduced to American cream soda, and I thought, oh, that's nice, because you like sweet stuff when you're a kid. I mean, now it's probably immensely sweet. See if I can squeeze past. But yeah, back in the day, American cream soda was lovely, and I would finish the bottle off and then bring it back, and you get a couple of pence. You buy a couple of half-a-piece sweets, which is great. I'm stuck here, so I'm going to quickly get over this road before I get run over. This is it's a college, a theological college. This isn't the entrance, although it would make it's an amazing door. I love the architecture on this. I'm not even sure what era this is from, but that's a brilliant door. If that was your front door, yeah. So I always look at these buildings and thinking they would make a fine Christmassy building, but obviously it's a bit, probably doesn't agree really. Christmas is supposedly a Christian sort of celebration, but it's not really, is it? It's there's a lot of pagan stuff and that mixed into it, and a lot of tradition more than religious. And in fact, I believe that scientifically somebody did some research and found out that maybe Jesus was born in October, but that doesn't take away, you know, any legitimacy from people's own personal beliefs. I think organised religion is quite dangerous, I'll be honest. I think people gathering in one place, doing the same thing at the same time, you become an army, and you can say you're army of God, but then there's another army of God who doesn't believe that your army of God has legitimacy, and so, you know, land and religion, just the scourge of the world, I think. And if you got rid of religion tomorrow, you got rid of, you know, you got rid of borders, and we just kind of helped each other. It'd probably be a better place. But yeah, that is St Mary's College, Oscott. Let's just zoom into that a bit. Oh, I'm getting quite knackered now. A bit far to be carrying all this shopping, but yeah, back in the day, it didn't used to have these massive spike railings. I find that quite, you know, it's a bit like Vlad the Impaler's castle. But I guess I've had a fair few intruders back in the day, and maybe even more recently. And you know, although these have been up for a while, but you know, personally speaking, I was probably one of those intruders, but with no ill intent. All you wanted to do was, you know, like, yeah, chill out on the grass and stuff, and it's quite nice in there. There's a bit of grassy area, and so you can't really blame kids for hopping over a little wooden fence and you know, just having a nice chilled out Sunday afternoon. You sort of see. So I don't really kind of go through any immense effort to do anything except manage the woodland, which is good because you know, the way things are going, legislation to actually tackle the green belt and build upon the green belt, which they're doing in Sutton Coldfield. It's and I'm not sure whether that is it's now sort of ring fence for building on, or whether that's still a contentious issue and it's up for argument and protest. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, you know, it's not a bad area to be brought up in anyway, New Oscott. I never really used to, you know, venture far from home, even in my teens, to be fair. I used to go down Bolton. I used to go to Sutton Coldfield as a teen, but never really anything to do at New Oscott. And the shop that we passed, that was on the corner where the big junction was. I used to buy a lot of cassette tapes from there in the day. If any of you out there are old enough, you remember you had the TDK cassette A90s, and if you were a little bit more at market, you'd have the AD90s, a slightly better quality. The chrome cassette tapes are a little bit tinny, I always found, but then you know, I don't know too much about quality of music and how to, you know, I was probably using a very nice cassette for a very dumb purpose, which was, you know, just recording stuff off the radio, as most kids in the 80s did. Of course, 2025 is 50 years since Bohemian Rhapsody was #1 in the UK, and that was the first song I was forced to sit down and listen to by my brother. I was actually forced to drink black coffee as well as a child. Have a black coffee and listen to Bohemian Rhapsody. We are now adults. So, yeah, a very strange song. I think my dad was secretly into a bit of a Beach Boys, but he wasn't really a music listening. Didn't really There's only a couple of tracks that I knew that he liked, and one of them was Chicago. If You Leave Me Now, and that was I think that may have been maybe number one in 1976. I'm not sure, but Chicago, If You Leave Me Now was definitely one of his favourites, and he did have an actual vinyl record with Sloop John B from the Beach Boys on, which was which he liked. I think it was the Beach Boys, or it may be an original before them, but we had a little wind-up gramophone as well. And later on we had radiograms. If anyone doesn't know what a radiogram is, picture a sideboard cupboard, and you lift a lid, and there's a record deck in it, and a little bit later on they attached a cassette deck to it as well. But they were very grand pieces of furniture, mostly run by giant valves in the back, but very nice to listen to. My mum's music. My mum had a few ABBA songs, and then a bit later on my brother started getting into music, so he'd have his Genesis. He'd forced me to listen to War of the Worlds, which I found as creepy as hell, and that would have been about 1979, I think, and maybe a year after it came out. So I was only sort of like 12, and I had a very active imagination. So this grand place across the road, it is no longer a pub. It is called I think it's called a Garden Room, and but it used to be the old Oscott Inn. And right before Villa games, a lot of people used to come here, have a drink, then they used to walk down a road just at the end of here and jump on number 7, and I used to take them to Villa Park. But yeah, it's a nice little garden centre next door. I've not been in there for a while, but yeah, every now and again it's just nice to take a walk over, but it's a bit chilly at the moment. The garden room has actually got quite a nice cafe at the back. Very welcoming place, very nice staff. This bag's getting really heavy now. I'm getting some sort of like, I'm gonna have some sort of arm issue. So there you go, it's a bit closer, but it does look like, like it still could be a pub, but it's more of a kind of, I don't know, bistro. They do food, do a lot of cakes, nice coffee. So people have a little Christmas get-togethers there, and as it looks like there's a lot of people sat down. So yeah, definitely there's a Christmas thing maybe going on. We're actually on the Chester Road now. To have a motorbike makes that much. I mean, fair games to my brother. He used to like his motorbikes, but he never had a motorbike that was that loud. So, just looking opposite Court Lane, we have Antrobus Road, and Antrobus Road actually, it takes us up a hill. Now, at the brow of that hill is where they used to hang people, I believe. They used to hold them on Oakwood Road, take them through the Spinney, which is like a small woodland, and then they used to bring them out on Antrobus Road, and that's where they used to hang them. So I guess that's so to give a message to other people: don't commit crime, don't steal a deer, don't do this. A lot of very simple crimes were heavily punished back then, and that is because it's a very long time ago, and sadly our religion, Christianity, I was christened as a kid, but it's kind of petered out 5 years ago. There seems to be a resurgence of people taking up Christianity. I think people kind of feel the need to engage with something other than the reality, and the reality is pretty grim, because if you look at it, if you look at the world we're in, it makes no sense whatsoever. People go without food this time of year. I mean, there's loads of people here, probably most of them are heading towards some kind of supermarket, but there's a lot of people that still go without. People starving in the world. There's areas of the world that could be a lot better. We like to fight each other. So there's a lot of wrongness in the world that a layperson would probably say, well, let's get that sorted. Let's sort that out tomorrow. We can actually just stop what we're doing to each other. But it's in the vested interests of a very few people, I think, in the world to keep these things going, arms deals. And sorry, I'm not getting off the kind of Christmas spirit of everything, but arms deals and pharmaceuticals to keep people medicated up, and religion and social media issues to keep people divided. And so it's no wonder to me that people might think, do you know what, need a bit of religion, now. I need to kind of find something that isn't man-made in my eyes. I mean, maybe a religion is man-made. I think spiritual belief, spiritual praying, universe, you can do all that, but I think that maybe religion in itself is quite a man-made construct, and clearly when you kind of read about some of the commandments, it's designed to control people and create order, and I think if ever there was higher beings that were involved with religious mechanism, then I think they might say, well, I don't know what you've done. You've taken our religion and turned it into a tool of power. It's a little bit like I watched the film Ready Player One, and the big company wanted to win the game and collect all the keys so that they could own the Oasis, as it was called, and then once they owned the Oasis, they could charge everybody. So whereas the Oasis was essentially free for people to get in, I think, and then all they had to do is make sure that they picked up coins and stuff, and created by two entrepreneurs in the film. And so there's people out there who literally want to take things and they want to control them, they want to commercialize them, and definitely religion, just general control of a population, I think. I just have a look to see what time, if there's a bus coming, and what time I can catch it, because I'm getting a bit knackered, if I'm honest. So 10 past 2, 10 past 1? 10 past 1. Right, I might just hang on here and hope that bus comes. Anyway, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Have a wonderful Christmas. Or if you don't really like Christmas, have a wonderful break. And just chill. If you're working, these things go too quickly, so try and make a few anecdotes, get out of here, do a bit of stuff that you wouldn't normally do, make the most of it. Hopefully the weather isn't going to be too bad, because this last couple of years have been a pig. It's just been raining over Christmas, so you get the time off, but you can't really get out and do anything. But if you can, get out, go for a walk, work off some of that Christmas cheer, and have a great and wonderful Christmas, and just make 2026 an amazing year. I've read a lot of things from people who say that 2026 is going to be very, very eventful. For anybody who kind of believes in the spiritual world and stuff, it's all happening now, and I believe these things when they happen, but I'm very, very open. I'm an open-minded skeptic to most things. So if things happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. And it'd be nice if something actually nice happened in the world that we could say, you know what, that's pretty good. I thought we were kind of getting close there. I thought Mr. Trump was going to, pull a few people together, but there's a determination to actually, to be different, and still a determination for conquering and global control. So once, hopefully, if 2026 means anything on a grand scale, hopefully it will mean a collapse of this kind of global control. Maybe people will start to kind of like get what we deserve. I mean, because at the moment, the world doesn't feel right. Last couple of months were quite interesting because we had a lot of solar activity, and so maybe that's going to trigger something interesting, because at the moment it's like a black hole sun, for anyone who knows the Soundgarden song. So folks, have a wonderful Christmas, and a great 2026. Just make the most of it.